What's good, Denver?
Denver, how are you? Merry Christmas. I hope you're doing great. I hope you're enjoying the 78-degree weather. Unbelievable. I'm a little bit worried about Breck and Keystone, but down here in Denver, boy, it feels really nice. Before we get into it, we have three wonderful guests today. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, and I'm going to do the ad reads, okay? Usually I improvise them, but this time I did some ad reads, so we'll see how this goes. All right, hey folks, if you've ever wondered how dealership makes cars look so good online, here's the secret weapon, Motor Street 360. They build pro-grade 360-degree car photo studios with rugged turntables and Hollywood-style lighting that help dealers showcase every angle of every ride, boosting views, cutting carryover inventory, and selling cars faster. Whether you're a big lot or a buy here, pay here outfit, Motor Street's custom studios pay for themselves fast and sync automatically with your VDPs on HomeNet and vAuto. We all know what that is. Want your inventory to jump off the screen? Motor Street 360. See the whole picture and sell more cars. Learn more at motorstreet360.com, and we appreciate them for sponsoring the podcast. Growing a business without visibility online is like shouting into a black hole, blunt and fruitless. That's where telescope mapping swoops in. Whether you need SEO that actually gets clicks, content that converts, or a full stack growth strategy that turns browsers into buyers, Telescope's team has the data, chops, and digital savvy to elevate your brand. From keyword strategy to CRO, lead gen to ads, they don't pump traffic, they drive meaningful growth. If your business is ready to break out of the noise, Denver, Telescope Mapping helps point the way. Check them out at telescopemapping.com. And finally, this is something that Tom and I went to last night. It's Den Thai Denver, a brand new restaurant down in the ballpark neighborhood. And we'll just put it this way. Are you craving something seriously delicious in Denver? Say hello to Den Thai, the new Thai spot that's more than just fine dining. It's fun dining. Expect bold, vibrant flavors, signature craft cocktails, and a lounge vibe perfect for friends, dates, or any occasion that deserves great food and good times. They're open all the holidays. Word is you even can snag a free Thai donut dessert on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So order online or swing by their Market Street location and let Den Thai take care of your taste buds, or I should say, take your taste buds on a trip. That's dentaidenver.com, and I can vouch for it. It is delicious. They got tapas in a Thai tradition. It's unbelievable. All right, so without further ado, we have three wonderful guests here today to talk about their upcoming show. The show is Life, a delightful show about fear and grief. It portrays the infinite need to honor the challenges and move through the pain served up by life while maintaining connection, meaning, and love. This is January 9th and 10th at the Bug Theater up on the north side. You can get tickets at fearandgrief.com. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Andrea, Katie, and Elena to the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Yeah.
Great job on the ad reads, by the way.
Not bad.
Good work.
Not bad.
Not bad. A lot of important words. Yeah.
Couple of little tongue twisters in there.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
I felt like I navigated it okay. And I do want to make sure I do it right because we love our sponsors.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about some heavy issues, which I think is probably appropriate for the holiday season. But we all agreed that before we do, we want to spread a little bit of holiday cheer. So kind of what we were talking about is we'll each kind of talk about a moment during the holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, the solstice, whatever it is for you, that filled you with what you would kind of describe as that holiday spirit. So anybody want to go first? And actually, when you do, just start off with your name and kind of maybe how long you've been in Denver. Katie, you've been voluntold.
I'm volunteering.
Yeah.
My name is Katie Mason, and I have lived in Denver for, since 2002. How long is that? Somebody else can do the math.
19. No, 20. I don't know. 20.
23.
Yeah, 23.
20 of years. 20 of years.
Yeah.
It's definitely home. I love living here. Okay, so not childhood memories of of holidays, but current, or I'm gonna go childhood. Okay. What I remember about the holidays was always a mixed bag, but what I loved was my parents would make up for the whole year at Christmas. And you know what? I, as a kid, for that one day was okay with that. So it was like overwhelming the amount of gifts I got, including a bird one year, Desi, my cockatiel,
Nice.
that I named after my sister's boyfriend because I had a crush on him, which is weird. But so I remember like a lot of gifts, a lot of love, and it was kind of a mixed bag because there was a background of guilt for making up for all the chaos that was going on the whole year. But as an adult, what I've been able to do is create my own versions of celebration around this time that don't include all of that. And so I've kind of been able to cherry pick what was lovely about all of that from my childhood and transform what wasn't.
Amazing. The bird sticks out.
Oh, yeah. Don't get a kid a bird. It's a terrible idea. They live for like 25 years.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of responsibility. And they're caged, which is just depressing as a pet, personally, I think. I love birds. They're fascinating. I love all animals. But yeah, Desi the cockatiel. Yeah.
Amazing. How do you do gifts now?
Well, this year, I overdo it a little bit. I gotta be honest. It's just like my parents. But this year I did still buy gifts. I've gone years where I didn't buy anything. Like I've tried lots of different things on, but I love to give gifts. So I got Andrea and Elena something this year. Always my niece and nephew. And I think what I'm getting better at is just accepting I am a gift giver. And this is kind of, I overdo it a little bit and I love it. So I just got to keep budgeting accordingly.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Amazing. Andrea, why don't you go next?
Yeah. So I'll just share one from my childhood and then a funny one with my kids. So I had a really great upbringing. My parents were just really wonderful. The highlight was one year I got the Barbie camper. I mean, that was a beautiful thing. It was, I still remember it. It was like, we kind of lived pretty modestly. So we weren't in the fanciest house, but my parents still, were able to give us a lot of things and do a lot of things with us and stuff like that. So that was really, really fun memory. I have a funny memory from my kids growing up. We would make a gingerbread house every year and it would sit on our counter and I wanted to get rid of it, but then I felt guilty, like just tossing in the garbage. So I would just tell them that we're leaving the gingerbread house out for Santa because he likes those. He brings them back to the North Pole and everything like that. Well, my youngest found out that there was no Santa because the day, Christmas morning, he went to the garbage can and there was the gingerbread house in the garbage where I'd thrown it out because I was taking it for Santa. So that was my
Well,
fault.
geez, spoiler alert. I hope there's no kids listening to this.
Yeah.
Wow. Way to
Your
go,
younger,
Andrea.
your younger podcast listeners. I'm so sorry.
Elena here, and I've been in Denver 30 years. I'm kind of born again Denverite.
Yeah.
But yeah, how long have you been here, Andrea?
I've been here since 96. So yeah.
Nice.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's funny. I had great parents too, and we always had really lovely holidays. But one year, I had a friend. She was 2 years older, and I used to do everything she did. And she had decided to like bust into the Christmas gifts under the tree. She would just like very carefully open the tape, unwrap it, see what it was, and then wrap it back up. She was probably pretty savvy. She was probably like 12 and I was 10. So I thought, well, I'll try that. And apparently I wasn't as good at it. And my mom was like, just, creative and compassionate, and clever, and just so extraordinary. She's just the most amazing human. Was so mad that she came into my room and she said, "Oh, you want to see your Christmas gifts? You can see your Christmas gifts." And she starts, I had unwrapped like one or two. She starts unwrapping every gift under the tree and throwing them at me. And she like, literally. So then on Christmas, I just kind of sat there watching everybody else open their gifts because I didn't have any. She wouldn't let me have them, but she wouldn't wrap them. I was done. I was done for Christmas that year. So yeah, I've never cheated since. I
Well,
was,
that sounds traumatizing.
yeah, no, definitely.
Mm.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So, and I ask because, my kids are 17 and 18, and I've got four sisters and a brother, and there's no littles anymore, So like gifts when there's like little kids and like the big display under the tree, there's nothing better than that. It's just the most extraordinary thing, but we don't have that anymore. So it's like irritating, really, Like for my household, I love gifts because you kind of you know what they want, you know what they need. And it's great, but when you bring in aunties and uncles and nanas and papas and things, it's just like, dude, this is too much. So I'm really trying to figure out what like the next chapter will be until there's littles again,
Yeah,
So
it becomes
Yeah.
so much more practical. My kids are getting luggage this year. It's like,
yeah, 100%.
Like,
Yeah. Their needs are much more expensive. It's like, congratulations, you get car insurance.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I'm just paying my kids fines for Christmas.
That's nice. I have a friend who puts fake presents under the tree, but I don't know if I could get on board with that. Not to just to fill up the space. And I get it, but yeah, I like the fullness under the tree as well. I don't have that either, but
Yeah. Well, there's nothing like the mythical Christmas when you're 7. It just looks bigger. You know what I mean?
It
It-
just,
Cool. I'll share a story.
yeah.
So I've been here my whole life. I was born in South Denver, so I hate to pull rank on you guys, but you know how snobby us natives are.
oh,
So there's one Christmas that really stood out to me, and we were talking about it beforehand, kind of like my interpretation of like the Christmas, the holiday spirit, if you will, is kind of like a melancholic joy, which has to do, I think, a lot with the time of year and like the solstice. So like the days are very short, the nights are very long, it's cold, it's time to kind of like hibernate, really. It's like it's the best time of year because you eat too many cookies and you take a nap and you wake up and drink a beer and watch football and then have some food and then go back to bed. It's just the best, So I really kind of rally around that. But this was many years ago, and I was by myself on Christmas Eve, and my roommate was gone. I wasn't with family. I was alone, which I really appreciated because I love solitude. Honestly, I've never really had a thing with loneliness. Like I like to be alone. It's so rare now. I kind of cherish those moments. But also I think it's when that kind of feeling, that longing feeling, and that kind of beautiful sadness kind of can emerge. So I'm kind of in my dining room and I'm just putting together a puzzle, and I'm listening to Jazz Odyssey on KUVO. I don't know if you know this radio station, but it's
Yeah.
a legendary jazz radio station in Denver. And the Odyssey show is where they play like kind of like a bits and fragments of like different styles of music, sometimes jazz, sometimes like world music, sometimes spoken word poetry. And they played this really famous song, but it was the first time I'd heard it. And it's this song by Iz. I don't know if you ever heard it. Well, I'm sure you have. Well, rest in peace, brother Iz, but he was a gigantic Hawaiian. He was like 500 pounds or something like that. But he did this ukulele medley of Somewhere Over the Rainbow and What a Wonderful World. And since it's been in like 1,000 movies because it is hauntingly beautiful. And so like they were playing it and it was just on this like little radio I had, and I was just doing puzzles, and it hit me with that spirit. And so I think ever since I've been chasing that dragon of like, how do I get back to that moment? But to me, that's what it is, you know? So I agree with you guys. It's like, I love gifts. I love getting gifts personally. It's probably, I'm ashamed to admit that, but I do. I love a good gift, and that's a big part of it. But I always like to find a little personal space, a little moment, where I can kind of try and feel that song from Is again.
Mm.
That's beautiful. That's such a
Awesome.
good song too.
Yeah,
Man.
so good.
It's so good. It's
Mhm.
so good. Cool. Thank you for that, you guys. And now I want to transition a little bit into your show. And I don't know the best entry point. I would love a description of the show and maybe what people that go and purchase tickets, what they can expect, and kind of maybe the inspiration of the show itself.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the show as a whole shines an innovative light onto really complex emotions. And we do that by blending potent monologues with poetic revelation and maybe most importantly, comic relief. And so it's this really nice blend of creative expression that kind of it shows that fear and grief are not just these like inevitable emotions, but they're presented as a sacred rite of passage. So it's like a powerful catalyst for transformation and resilience. So the audience comes in and gets to witness a path towards healing. And we cover a broad range of topics that include addiction, loss, like death loss, love, chronic illness, divorce, dementia, childhood reflection, spiritual searching, and more. And we are committed to creating a space for people to experience fear and grief inside a community context so that they're sort of fueled with love to go back and, feel inspired to transform and move through these emotions on their own.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, and this is Andrea. I think one of the things I'd like to say is that people come into our show and they don't know what to expect. They're a little nervous. They're like, sometimes people are like, "Well, I don't want to cry," and it's really like it's such a ride that we take people on. So it's uplifting combined with with the more poignant moments so that people do have that comic relief, like Katie mentioned.
Yeah, and there's we bring three different perspectives because it's a very personal show. You will learn
Mhm.
a lot about our journeys through fear and grief. And it's very honest, which you pretty much everybody speaks to seeing a part of themselves in at least one of our stories. And so you feel connected even if you're not having the exact same experience as us because we bring these different perspectives.
These are biographical stories.
Yeah.
They are. One of the things I find really interesting about the comedy is I've really been on this path of wanting to point to the absurdity of hard things so that if somebody is listening and can relate and they laugh at it from my point of view, they're really kind of laughing at their own really crappy situation. I mean, they're finding some levity inside of the gravity. It's like being able to both can exist. It can be difficult and it can be ridiculous, and that's, I think, worth also shining a light on because
Yeah.
sometimes we lose that point of view when we're in the middle of it.
Well, humor to me is like the ultimate healer, because
Mhm.
everything's funny. It just depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tragic, but like, that's the gallows humor. I mean, I like horrible comedy, much to the chagrin of my family and my close friends, but when it lands, it's the perfect salve.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I got goosebumps when you said everything's funny, and I call it like bumps of affirmation. I get
Yeah.
goosebumps when something is like a bullseye. And it's true. Everything has the potential to be funny. Now there's a time and a place. You don't want to just like hurl that at somebody
Yeah.
who's asking for it. But I feel like, to Andrea's point about the ride, it's like it really comes. It really, you're ready for it when it comes, and it is a relief.
Yeah.
It is really, but it takes skill, like that ride when we can, because we add really powerful, like poignant commentary on the gravity, like Elena was saying, the gravity of these emotions, and to hold that like in poetic expression, particularly. I think poetry is really powerful for entering us into these spaces of, but being able to stay in there and create beauty while then transferring that into some comic expression. Like, to do that, it takes finesse, and we do it really well in the show. And so you get to go on that ride without feeling jerked around, like, oh, I was just in the deep, well of my soul, and now I'm supposed to laugh at this thing. So we are guides as much as we are performers in the show.
Cool. And it like storytelling too is like kind of ceremonial in a way. And I think it always has been for humans, just gather around the fireplace.
Yeah.
I really love like country blues, like the old dusty stuff from the early Smithsonian recordings, Mississippi John Hurt and Robert Johnson and like all those guys, Son House. And fortunately, like my kids are really into music. They're teenagers, but they have great taste, which means that they kind of like my music. So I've been playing a lot of this music for them. So on the one hand, it's like, it's just a guy in a corner playing a guitar. So you can talk about the technical prowess they have with their guitar playing, but also the stories they're telling are super potent, and it has like a spiritual richness, for lack of a better term, where everything they're saying has like these like devils and demons playing out and magical spells and voodoo and love and like pain and loss, just massive. I mean, it's the blues after all, so and through that, it's not that because I think there's kind of like a humor that where you're like, oh, thank God that's not me, but rather it pulls you in to say like, oh no, like this is all of us, So when you're approaching storytelling and you're writing the show, like how do you kind of approach the story?
Yeah.
If I may, Elena here, it's interesting because Katie is a therapist and it's like having a staff therapist. But she's been really great. I mean, first of all, I think one of the first things she said was, you guys need a therapist. Now, we're all in therapy.
We're all in therapy now.
We are. It's almost like part of Katie's negotiation for working with us, which is totally fair. But also she's been really great at saying like, we can only do pieces that are processed. And I didn't fully understand what that meant until I did. But like, there are stories that we tell and they're still emotional to us. That doesn't mean that they're not processed. The fact that we only tell stories that are processed allows us to be present when we're sharing the story, and the audience doesn't ever have to worry about us. Like that was kind of how I took it, Katie. Like we are telling the story from a powerful place, not from a victim place.
Well, yeah, we take the time to care for the craft of the development of the story enough that by the time we give it to the audience, we know like, here, you're ready. We're ready to share this.
You're ready.
And you're ready.
Yeah.
You're going to be ready to receive it instead of, here we just, because it's deep material. It's really deep material.
Yeah.
And so we really approach it with a lot of care so that, to Elena's point, they don't have to take care of us in it, but also they get to receive the medicine of the work we did to get to that point to share it.
Yeah. How this is an interesting idea of like something that's been processed, because there's plenty of stuff that I've been like, I'm good with that, and it comes back to bite me. How do you know it's like ripened to the place that you can bring it to the stage?
It is tricky. Like, so when Elena says it's processed, I'm like, but process enough.
Yeah.
Stage ready versus because it's never it's just layers and layers. I mean, I talk about my stuff with my mom from 20 years ago that, you know, there's just going to be other layers to this for the rest of my life because it's my mother. And,
Yeah.
you know, but enough that we feel like we know the care can be maintained in the delivery.
Yeah, because it is interesting how you discover something new. You're like, why am I having trouble with this line? And it's like, oh, because I haven't really dealt with that yet. Or I didn't realize there was a little bit of shame behind there that I wasn't acknowledging. So,
We just popped one of those the other day, didn't we?
Right.
Yeah.
'Cause we're going deeper and deeper every time we
Yeah.
share the same material. So we get to then go deeper into ourselves. And it's actually pretty cool because then it gets to be therapeutic. But we get to practice doing all that still. So by the time we get to stage, we're like, man, we're ready to give this to you. Boom, instead of, oh, we accidentally just threw all our shame on you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
We're
do
not
it
like-
before the show.
Yeah. We don't want to trauma bond. Like that's not the intention.
Yeah.
And
yeah, go ahead.
the fun thing is the formats are all different of everything. Sometimes it's a letter, sometimes it's a poem, sometimes it's kind of a lyrical, a lyrical piece.
Whatever
and
she does, it's lyrical. Whatever the hell she does that we can't describe.
There are no words for that.
So it just keeps the audience really engaged with all of this because it's like sitting in a living room and listening to basically stories and interesting things being shared.
And there's us three on stage. Like we really show too that like we don't have to do this alone. And like that is so important because I love as performers, we met through stand up so that, we kind of met through comedy, which is very solo. You're just you and Mike, nothing else. And it's really nice to be in a collaboration on stage. And then that is like actually what we need around these emotions is so much of the way we deal with this stuff is alone by ourselves in our own worlds instead of out connected with others.
Cool. I can relate a little bit. Years ago, I had a rap metal band and we killed it. We put out 3 records. We, had some hits on college radio. We were killing it. And, being rap metal as a genre, basically every song is being really mad at your dad, and, and so like, my dad would come to the shows or all the songs were not me being mad at my dad. I'm paraphrasing, but I'd lean into the lyrics, I'd rap in, I'd play in guitar solos, like the aggression and power, that was the whole thing. And I loved it. But my grandma came to a couple of shows and I did a lot of self-editing. I'm not going to lie, because what's appropriate for some audiences, I didn't want my grandma knowing I had a foul mouth. You know what I mean? Do you guys find yourself doing self-editing when you're writing the show, especially as comedians?
I mean, we have evolved it, but I don't know if it's.
I don't think we edited anything. I would say my one son. So I have a son. He's 24. He's a total groupie. He comes to every show that he can. He loves the show. And then I have a 27-year-old, and he's the one who has struggled with addiction for like 12 years. And it's interesting because I have a piece to him, and I performed it when he's been in rehab. I've performed it when he's been deep in addiction. I performed it when he was homeless. I performed it when he's back in rehab. I performed it when he slipped again. I mean, it's been such a crazy ride. And so where I am in that conversation is different all the time. But that wasn't actually what I was going to say, and I forgot.
Well, I don't think we've done any editing when someone is on stage. I think we just get more nervous depending on who's going to show up.
I was going to say, if he were there, I might. I don't know. I mean, I've talked to the girls about it. Like, I don't know. I might just tweak just a tiny little bit, because I want him to be able to hear it and not be defensive. But it wouldn't be much, and it wouldn't impact the spirit of the piece. But I don't think we have yet. And I'd like to actually believe that I wouldn't, but I don't know.
I'll keep encouraging you not to.
I know you will.
I will support whatever you need to do at the same time for that specific moment, because that's a very particular experience. And I do think that because these emotions, like, we don't really want to self-edit because these emotions are universal, like all humans have to go through this, that I think I don't want to have to self-edit because I want people to be in the potency of the truth of it, no matter what your background is. So we have people that come to the show in their 80s and, in their 20s. If my sister came to visit, she brought her kids who are 12 and 9, I would say bring them to the show. And are you ready to have some real conversations after the show? Because as a kid growing up in a lot of trauma, like I had to have really adult conversations early on or was presented with adult concepts. And I think, again, we deliver it with such care that it would actually be an entry point for conversations and it's not going to shut somebody down from them.
Well, and one thing I think I know, and I don't know much about grief and process, is like being open and honest about your own feelings gives other people a place for their feelings to go. And it makes it so much better. Because to your point, it's like, this is the breadth of the human experience, and horrible loss and terrible things is a part of what we signed up for, or maybe we didn't sign up for. Can I share with you like this technique for dealing with grief that a buddy of mine shared real quick?
Yeah.
Cool. In Denver, there's an amazing group. It's headed by Danny Newman, and it's an AI clubhouse. So it's this AI group that meets every other Wednesday, and you can find it by letsvibe.org. And anyway, so we're talking about like AI products, and all these people are builders. So we're talking about like the tools we're building and things. So my buddy Zaya says, I've been using these music generators. Now, have you guys played around with like AI music generators at all?
No. I have. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, they're really cool. It's controversial because it's so good. You can just say like, give me a country song about Elena, finding her dog in the woods, and it will make a great song immediately.
Wow.
So, I've kind of done a little bit of thing, like for my daughter's birthday or whatever, like you make them a song, it's kind of cute or whatever. But he said, I've been playing with these music generators as a way to deal with the loss of a friend and like processing grief. So like you kind of like bring some like remembrances about them and whatever, and then like put it into different like genres and like generate these songs, and then like kind of listen through the song. And I was like, dude, that's incredible. So I was like, I'm going to try it. And I haven't lost anybody recently, but I did lose this beta fish that like has been in our family for like 4 years, shout out to Burger. And I was like, maybe I could do like kind of a stomp and holler kind of banjo type thing about Burger. And so I like typed in a couple of notes about my little fish, and it put together this song that was absolutely beautiful, and I think that like, these tools like we've got now with AI, we don't really know what to do with them because they're so new. But this was actually pretty effective of like processing some grief for a fish. I mean, it sounds ridiculous. It's a small thing, but like, it was nice, it made me feel good about like, seeing Burger on my countertop and missing him,
Yeah, you're like Taylor Swifting your way through your traumas. It's brilliant.
I didn't know Taylor Swift could be a verb.
Yeah, that's a verb for sure. She's
Yeah.
So
Creative expression as a whole is so important when it comes to processing any of this stuff.
Yeah.
So if you feel a creative continuity with that particular way of doing it, like great. But there's so many ways. Like poetry for me is just, it is fundamental to processing all of these emotions. And I work with it both therapeutically and personally. So finding what that is essential.
Cool. I'm so glad that you guys met through comedy. After like, I was really curious how you met each other. I thought it was going to be on a crime scene or something.
In another life.
yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
we we really were going to do a comedy show initially. That's what this started to be. And then Kate, we got kind of sidetracked. Kate's like, let's just do this one show like this. And we're like, we were like, oh, this is beautiful. We have to
Yeah.
keep
Andrea
going.
and I were a little resistant, Katie's like, I don't want to just do comedy. I want to do other things. And we're like,
All
fine.
right.
One time, and then we did a comedy show, and we've never, we
Yeah.
have done comedy together since. And it's kind of interesting because I the thought I had was, oh man, we're not
Just
gonna make anybody cry. Like we're not gonna move people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we're gonna entertain them. That's cool. But I really realized just how important it is to be able to do what we do and offer what the show offers. It's so unique, and I can't imagine any other way that I could do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's cool. And Katie, I love hearing you say that, kind of speaking as a therapist of how important creative process is, and creating ritual and creating a place where you can kind of express yourself. Because that's been really important to me, particularly because, man, I've tried, I don't know, half a dozen at least therapists, and that has just never been a great way for me to work. For whatever reason, I've always wanted it to, because I never shut up. So I figured it'd be perfect for me, you know.
No,
But
you need somebody to interrupt you then. I found somebody strong enough to get through and be like, stop talking. No, I'm
I think
just
that's it.
kidding,
I always feel like I'm performing. I'm like, wow, I got the stage, huh? I'm just gonna like go on a monologue for 60 minutes, be like, well,
but,
that's great. I worked on nothing.
yeah, that's common if I think when you have a strong presence and you like to talk and you're excited about the things that you're talking about, it does take a certain personality to be able to pair with that. But there's a lot of ways to get into therapeutic terrain, and I don't want to minimize the power of therapy, because if you find the right connection and the right person who can really hold up, like go toe to toe with you, but so don't quit looking for that per se, but also, yeah, keep diving into other creative ways to like get deep and excavate what is in here, because we got to keep moving it out. Otherwise, it clutters our life. It prevents us from feeling joy and connection and love and all the things that balance out the suffering, and we need that.
No, I appreciate the encouragement, and I will persevere. I feel pretty fortunate that like I don't have any too pronounced pathologies, but I also believe in treatment for the well. Like there's nothing wrong in like performance enhancing like type therapy. So maybe this is an APB out to our 27,000 listeners. If you've got a therapist that could deal with someone being like, I read that literature and I disagree, then they're probably right for me.
Yeah. Yeah. hmm
Yeah.
And it would be interesting to come to the show and see what it's like to be in the presence of people who are exploring therapy, both personally. You get the perspective of a therapist who also has a lot of, I'm very human. And to see kind of the vulnerability at like front and center, I think it can just keep inspiring you to keep going deeper in your own work if you're feeling a little plateaued around like, I don't know, like what direction I need to keep taking. You'll be inspired that like I don't say fear and grief are fun, because that's a weird, that might be a weird thing to say, but the denseness of these emotions in our human life are really powerful and exciting when you know how to dig into them. So
Amazing. Now, I always like to mention, if we can, some charitable organizations, particularly that work here in Denver. So there's a couple that came out. One was People House, and the other is Colorado Addiction and Alcohol Rehab. Maybe Elena, you can speak about them real quick.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, CARS. And I think it's Colorado Addiction Recovery Services.
You're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah, I misspoke.
Yeah, 100% of my children have gone to rehab. Fortunately, I only have two, but it was an extraordinary experience for both of them, and I feel like one of my sons has gone to rehab a few times, and 4 times, and it was really different here. There was a certain like just humanity I don't know how else to explain it. It was unlike anything I had seen before, and both of my boys were really receptive to it. And one went back again, but it's just as a mom too, dealing with addiction from this side of it, I felt more supported as well. And it was just, I mean, I don't want to call it like a great experience, but I mean, I'm so grateful for the work that they do and their level of commitment to not just helping navigate addiction, but support for family and the people who love the people struggling with addiction.
Amazing. And people can find them. They're at coloradoars.com is their website. And then, Katie, maybe you want to talk a little bit about People House.
Yeah, People House is an affordable counseling center that I have been a part of for 16 years. They offer affordable counseling in the Denver metro area. They're right off 25th and Federal, so near the Bug Theater. Actually, we're performing the Highlands, and they provide therapeutic training for therapists and then affordable counseling for the community. Lovely, lovely, salt of the earth human beings, just trying to keep heart services available at an affordable rate for folks. So you can find out more about them at peoplehouse.org.
Tremendous. Amazing. Okay, kind of wrapping up here. Holidays behind us. Then we got the show, but in between we have New Year's. So, surprise question. What are your New Year's resolutions for 2026? Andrea, let's start with you.
Yeah, I just put one down. I'm going to volunteer 30 times at Denver Rescue Mission. That's been a favorite charity of mine for a long time, and just want to make a more concerted effort to volunteer regularly instead of a little more sporadically.
Aw, that's great. I'll go. For me, I am really recognizing the value of ritual and structure, and I'm clear that I have spent my entire life avoiding it. But I'm just leveling up in all the areas, and including the show, but in all the areas of my life. And so, for me, 2026 is going to bring a structure and ritual level of structure and ritual I had never experienced before to support that growth.
We talk a little bit about ritual that's important to you?
Say that again?
What kind of ritual that is important to you?
Well, I like the word ritual better than structure, so I'm still at least a little bit resistant. But ritual for me, I would say the only time I've really experienced ritual was when I did a microdosing course, and I had a ritual, a cacao ritual on the mornings that I did the medicine, and it was just 10 minutes. It was just 10 minutes of music and breathing and grounding and
chocolate.
And chocolate. I mean, come on. All the important things. And it was really fantastic. And yet, when I was no longer doing the course, I dropped it out. I don't know why. But it's sort of like a vacation. Vacations don't plan themselves. Like, you have to actually make that happen. And I think the same is true with ritual. And that's what I'm committed to bringing to 2026, is to actually creating it.
Beautiful. I'm more of a macro dose kind of guy. Any therapies in there?
Yeah.
Nice. How about you, Katie?
Yeah, I think for me, I'm expanding my capacity to feel more love. Like, that is really what I want to keep bringing, is just more trust and love. And so that is like not a doership. It's like, I'm just going to keep working on allowing myself to soften, so that I'm not trying to micromanage everything so much. And that is a practice. And so I really just hope 2026 I can keep my heart open, because it's so much better when it is.
How do you increase capacity for love?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's like, it really is a practice. So when I like feel love, like I was practicing before getting on this call actually, because I was like I put on some music and I was like, oh, just because, I was just in like, okay, we're trying to get shit done mode versus like, oh, I want to be open. And so I put on some music. I start really feeling how much I love Andrea and Elena and doing the show. And I just really do so much. And then noticing when I get spun up and like settling back into the baseline that I felt before I got on the call. And I need to do that over and over and over, like multiple times a day, because I get into busy mode and I forget that, oh, yeah, I can actually feel these really beautiful things. I just got to reinforce that. And in a lot of the neuroscience literature and research, if we can just dwell in a positive emotion for 3 to 5 seconds, that's it. It really starts to repattern our ability to hold it for longer. So I tell myself, I don't have to like hold this all day and just hold on the love, but I said hold it a little bit longer before you task switch into, efficiency. And then I'll be expanded more and more naturally.
I love that. Okay. You guys are a
How about
bunch of
you?
you guys are a bunch of do-gooders, so I'm kind of embarrassed, but
No, that's
honestly,
right.
2026 is going to be the year of the curls. Like what I want is like when I do this, like I want that little cut right here, like that. I'm just going to do curls all year.
Gonna do on the podcast.
Why
Your
not?
fire coming up.
Yeah, my son's like he's reaching about 185 pounds. He kind of looking me sideways and testing me in the hallways. I'm like, man, I got to do something. He's going to overcome me here any second now.
You got a competition.
That's right.
Amazing. This has been so fun. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Where people can learn more, it's fearandgrief.com. The upcoming dates are January 9th and 10th. In a couple of weeks here at the Bug Theater. You can purchase tickets at fearandgrief.com. Now, how about you individually? Where can people connect with you guys online?
Yeah. So I have a few places I do. Probably the best place to connect with me is Andrea Marie Comedy. That's where I have a little more comedy. My comedy. I run a show called Moms Unhinged as well, but that's more my personal Instagram.
Yeah, you can find me just katiemason.com. All my info is there for all the range of performance and the counseling services that I provide as well. The whole gamut.
Right. Yeah, same. I think ElenaMcMillan.com is pretty all encompassing. But we're also on Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook, and
Socials. Yep.
yeah.
Amazing. You're so lucky you got the .com. There's a RyanEstes.com out there that
Dang.
gets so much email for like all this stuff I do online. I was talking to him the other day and he's like, dude, man, so much email comes your way. I'm like, just sell me the .com. He's like, oh, man, no, I will not do it.
Yeah. Boomer.
Incredible. This has been so fun. I really appreciate you reaching out. I really appreciate you coming on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, the newsletter this week will have all the events. We've got, I think, 6 new restaurant openings. We've got 5 new job openings. There's a bunch of news and stuff. It'll be the last week of the holiday stuff before we really get into the new year. I'm super excited for 2026. And gals, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Denver folks, this one's for you. If you love this city as much as I do, you've got to go over to realgooddenver.com. This is a newsletter, it's a podcast, it's a whole vibe. On the podcast, What's Good Denver, we dive into the things that make Denver, well, Denver. We're talking about restaurant recommendations, local founders, events, and just all around inspiring people that have helped shape the culture in Denver, Colorado. And if you're all about discovering hidden gems, big ideas, and the heartbeat that make Denver, Denver, this is the podcast and newsletter for you. Whether you're a lifelong local, like me, or new to the Denver area, this is your inside guide to all things Denver. So check out realgooddenver.com and listen to the podcast, subscribe to the newsletter. Trust me, it's everything you love about Denver in one place. That's realgooddenver.com. Now back to the show.